We're going to use the graph over here to the side to answer the following questions. And I've sort of embellished the graph a little bit just to find out where the x-intercepts are. And I kind of had to estimate. It's between -1 and -2. So it looks like there's an x-intercept here at about -1.4, maybe -1.5. You just need to label it. There's another x-intercept here at 0, and then one here at 1.4 if I'm looking at symmetry here. And then going to the far left, there's no arrow, but you can indicate the arrow, is going to be -infinity. Going to the far right, +infinity. Same here, going up, +infinity, going down, -infinity. The reason I want to put the x-intercepts on there is it's going to help me figure out where the x interval is for the y's below the x-axis. So think about, that's what f of x less than 0 means. You're below the x-axis. So we can see starting here at -1.4 all the way over to 0, we're below the x-axis here. So starting at -1.4 to 0, parentheses on both of those, because we want to be below. If I put a bracket on these, that means I'm on the x-axis as well as, underneath it. Then starting again at 0 with a parenthesis, all the way over to the number 1.4. And again, I don't want to be equal. I don't want to be on the axis, so I don't use a bracket. I use a parenthesis here. All right. So now where am I above? Well, again, from left to right, starting out here at -infinity, because this is going to keep on going out. So from -infinity all the way over to -1.4, we're going to be above. Again, left to right, not looking bottom to top, but left to right. -infinity to -1.4. And then 1.4 to infinity. And then we've already estimated where it's on the axis. That would be at those values, -1.4, 0, and 1.4. Where is the function increasing? So this is where we go from left to right. My finger goes downhill, so that's where it's decreasing, until I hit x equals -1. Remember, you're looking at the x-axis only. We're not looking at how low it goes. We're looking at left to right. Where does it start and stop? So starting here at -1, x equals -1, all the way over to x equals 0, we're going uphill. So my interval is going to be starting at -1 to 0. And because we're talking about where is it increasing, at a point it neither increases nor decreases. So we're going to be using parentheses when we talk about increasing or decreasing. So from -1 to 0 we're increasing. From 0 to 1 we're sliding downhill. And then from 1 all the way over to +infinity, that's the section where it's going uphill. So from here to here, x equals 1 out to infinity, it's going uphill. All right, so in the next part, over what interval is it decreasing? All right, well, we kind of indicated that. From -infinity all the way over to here at x equals -1. So from -infinity to -1, it's sliding downhill. Or going uphill, going downhill from 0 to 1. Again, left to right, not bottom to top. Left to right, 0 to 1, we're going downhill. And again, when we talk about increasing and decreasing, we're always using parentheses. For letter F, we want to know what's the domain. So domain, where does it start from the left all the way over to the right? So again, it doesn't start at negative 1.4 because here at negative like 1.7, there's going to be a value. Negative 2, there's ultimately going to be a value. So all the way over here to negative infinity through positive infinity, we're going to have x values that will correspond to that graph. So our domain goes from negative infinity all the way to positive infinity. The range of this graph, remember, is bottom to top. This is the only time we're really looking at the y-axis. What is the lowest y value to the highest y value? Well, the lowest y value is right here at negative 4. So bracket at negative 4 all the way up to infinity. And again, next to infinity and negative infinity, you'll always see parentheses. You can never put a dot like we can here at negative 4. You can't do that to infinity or negative infinity. Find f of negative 1. So what this is asking is when your input is negative 1, what's the corresponding output? So we're looking for a point that's negative 1 comma something. So negative 1 comma negative 4, my output would be negative 4, because that's going to be the y value that goes here. So our value is negative 4. Letter I is asking in the other direction for find an x when y equals 2. Remember, f of x is another name for y. So we're looking for a point, something comma 2, and we're looking for that something. So go back to your graph. When y is 2, what's one of those values? So it looks like here, but what's the corresponding x value? That's probably about negative 1.5. And when y is 2, we can come over on this side and go down, and that's probably going to be about 1.5. So we've got x equals a negative 1.5 comma 2, and x equals a positive 1.5 comma 2. Find f of 1. So our input is 1. We're looking for an output. So we're looking for the point x equals 1 on our graph. So when x equals 1, what's the corresponding y value? That would be negative 4. Because we saw the point 1, negative 4 was on the graph.